Hello, my name is Val Schwartz, and I'm the head of admissions here at NC State's Institute for Advanced Analytics. And today I am delighted to speak with one of our wonderful Master of Science in Analytics alumni. Would you mind introducing yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Kasia Michalska. I graduated from IEA in 2020, and I'm currently employed by Aetna CVS Health as a senior data scientist.
Thanks, Kasia. We really appreciate you being here with us today. And I remember back when I first met you when you were considering whether to enroll in the MSA program back in the day. And at that point, you'd already earned 2 master's degrees when you were considering whether to enroll. You had one from your native Poland and then one here in the US. So what led you to the Institute?
Well, my career path was a little bit bumpy. So I started with economics degree back home. I worked for a couple of years for the government. I enjoyed that role tremendously, but then I had an opportunity to come for scholarship to do my MBA in US. So that's how I got my second master's. And while I was doing MBA and later working in US, I realized that really it will be really hard for me to marry being a foreign individual and working in the economics area in any sort. So I pivoted my career to like a business analyst role, and I've been in that role for like 2.5-3 years. And I realized there is like a ceiling to what I can do with just like an Excel-based or self-taught programming. And that's why I was searching for a program that would help me pivot into a more predictive analytics role and kind of elevate my career in that way.
Excellent. Yeah, your situation is not that uncommon. We've definitely encountered other folks who sort of recognize those limitations of what their skills could provide. So when you think about your time, your experience here at the Institute, what do you value most about the program?
There are so many things I value. I'm like a big fan of the program, which truth being said, I don't think when I enrolled, I truly appreciated all of them or I knew about them. I definitely didn't know about the hype of IEA back then. But I think straight out of IEA, I appreciated the most the technical stuff I learned and all the good classes and the fact that when I entered my role, I felt confident enough that I can figure things out. Even if I didn't know that exact technique that I needed to use, I knew how to go about finding out how to use it. I just got enough technical skills to perform my job well. And that's still currently valid, but I think right now what I appreciate the most is the network of alums and the fact that we are kind of staying in touch, and when you do reach out to people, they actually answer your messages for the most part, and they are willing to have a conversation. So I think as I grow into my career, I appreciate that network more and more.
And have you been on the receiving end of some of that outreach as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And truly, I gladly talk with other alums or even students at the IEA, obviously, much more than some random person reaching out and asking for advice or whatever. I just kind of feel I've been on that receiving end when I was at IEA. And trying to reach out to people, so trying to give back, but also I see for people who are already in the industry, I see it as a two-way street where I am giving something, but I'm also receiving information how other companies are working on data science problems or what kind of skills those people use on their day-to-day job.
So speaking of that, speaking of different companies and how they operate within the data science sphere, what are some of the benefits and the drawbacks of working for a really large organization like yours?
Sure. CVS Health is really a big corporation, and their data science department is also kind of big for the standards. I think right now we are 3,000 people with different data science or data analytics titles. So on one hand, it has its pros, like our working environment is really optimized and we have all the newest wells and bells. I don't think that was the correct English, but we have
Bells
all
and
the
whistles.
technology that is currently being used and deployed, and it's all pretty easy to get access to data and everything. On the other hand, of course, there are so many teams and your work is really chopped. So I'm working on the pricing problems, and it's all about margins and how we keep clients or how we win new business. And that's all the problems I will ever work on until I stay on this team. There is, in order for you to work on something new, you need to basically change a team. Because of how siloed it became over time, and because of how that there are so many teams. So there are pros and cons, but everyone picks what they like.
That's right. Have you been in pricing the whole time you've been there, or
Yes.
have you? Okay,
Yeah.
Great. So within the scope of your work, what are some of the kinds of projects that you really enjoy working on?
Yeah, I think I really enjoy the beginning of the project when we kind of try to figure out where is that business opportunity that we could address. And both looking at the data that is available and kind of trying to figure out what can we extract from that and how good that data is for the analysis, as well as talking with the stakeholders and figuring out where the problem actually lies and is data science even the correct answer. I was fortunate enough to have a great manager who included me in a lot of meetings where I could maybe not actively participate at every time, but I could hear their perspective. And that really helps later when you're trying to build that solution to make sure that it will be actually utilized and you will see the impact that you're hoping for. So I think that's something that I really appreciate about my current role.
That's interesting. I do hear from quite a few of our alumni when I speak with them that is such a large part of the work, is really helping whomever your stakeholders are to pinpoint what it is they're actually looking for so that you can ensure whatever solution you're developing is going to actually be executable. So it's definitely a big part of the job.
Yes, I think, especially as you grow into your career, it's becoming more and more of that thought leadership than really nailing down the code. Of course, you still code and I still do it on a daily basis, but like the focus of what you are thinking about shifts. Coding is just a way of getting the job done, but whether you will be successful or not depends on how you position that project and whether it is even needed in the first place.
Exactly. So switching gears, here's a fun question for you. You've been up in the greater Boston area now for a few years. So what's your favorite thing about living and working up there?
Many things. I enjoy like a bigger metropolitan area with all it can offer. But also not being so big as New York City that it's becoming really tiring. I think Boston is like a good balance between the two. It's a great food scene for people who like to eat. So that's definitely something me and my husband were enjoying over pandemic and doing takeout from various restaurants. Right now that we have a kid, I really appreciate the school system, which is like really good around this area. So yeah, it changes as your life changes, but for now we decided to stay here and put some roots in Massachusetts. That's
great to hear. And I know your little one is still a few years away from school.
Yeah, he is.
Well, Kasia, thank you so much for taking time to chat with me today. We really appreciate hearing your insights on your experience since the time you were here at the Institute. So I appreciate it. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too. Well, thank you so much for reaching out. It was great to talk to you.